The report from the scientists of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change warned that already greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere are high enough to guarantee climate disruption for decades, if not centuries. In other words, the deadly heat waves, gargantuan hurricanes, and other weather extremes that are already happening will only become more severe.
It is indisputable that human activities are causing climate change and making extreme weather events more frequent and severe. Second, it shows that climate change is affecting every region on our planet. And lastly, it explains that strong, rapid, sustained reductions in carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions would be required to limit global warming.
Fires that broke out during Greece's worst heat wave in 3 decades last week burned unabated in many parts of the country on Monday. In the last 2 weeks, fires have wrought damage on tens of thousands of hectares of forest in Turkey's Mediterranean and Aegean provinces, killed 8 people, and forced thousands of people, including tourists, to flee. Monday alone saw 500,000 acres of forest burning in California, while in Venice, tourists waded through ankle-deep water in St. Mark's Square. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres described the report as a code red for humanity.
We are not talking about the fact that 2021 is currently projected to be the year with the second highest annual emission rise ever. That's not something that's, if you read like newspapers today, it seems like people are doing something. Countries are presenting net zero targets like decades into the future, and we are taking action.
In 3 months' time, the UN Climate Conference in Glasgow, Scotland, will try to wring much more ambitious climate action out of the nations of the world and the money to go with it. Drawing on more than 15,000 scientific studies, the IPCC report gives the most comprehensive and detailed picture yet of how climate change is altering the natural world and what could still be ahead.
You know, it's a bit like an alarm clock. You can keep switching the alarm clock off, but eventually, if you don't get out of bed and go to wherever you're meant to be going to, it will be too late. You won't get there in time. And I think that this is what this report really is saying. Listen, the alarm clock has gone off many times. This is probably the last report that will be written before we go through and beyond 1.5 degrees C, unless we act now. And that's quite a stark warning. You know, the wildfires out of control in Greece and Turkey, the heat domes in California and you know, British Columbia in Canada, the wildfires out of control in Siberia, the floods in Germany and in China. You just look anywhere around the world and you see climate catastrophe unfolding. All this report is doing really is putting the science behind this, saying that we are now certain this is human-induced.
The report says, unless immediate, rapid and large-scale action is taken to reduce emissions, the average global temperature is likely to reach or cross the 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold within 20 years. The pledges to cut emissions made so far are nowhere near enough to start reducing level of greenhouse gases, mostly carbon dioxide, CO2, from burning fossil fuels accumulated in the atmosphere.